Welcome once again to the review of the Evolving Analyst. And we have with us today one of the authors in the book. His name is Malcolm Hawker. And the title of his article is The Data Analyst's Edge in the Age of AI. It's in the data analysis section of the book. And Malcolm Hawker's article really explains why data, why analytics, and AI do not really automatically create insight or better decisions. And he highlights that analysts add value by framing the right questions, challenging assumptions, and interpreting data within business context. So welcome to the show, Malcolm.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our discussion.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Now, what edge do humans still have over AI in analytics, do you think?
Oh my gosh, the list is long. The biggest one being critical thought. I believe. I mean, humans have the ability to apply critical thinking, ask difficult questions, challenge narratives. Just because something has been written down or appeared on the internet somewhere doesn't necessarily mean it's automatically true. We know this to be the case. And just because Gen AI is telling you something, we've all experienced crazy hallucinations. Just because you may be getting told something by AI doesn't mean it's necessarily true. Now, AI could be a helpful coworker, could be somebody helping you kind of point you in the right direction, maybe even help you brainstorm a little bit. But when it comes to business analysis, data analysis, critical thinking is still something unique to the human realm, not to mention wisdom, discernment, right? The ability to think kind of horizontally across multiple functions in an organization, the ability to see the forest in the trees. But again, I think the biggest one skill is critical thinking, right? And being able to ask the right questions and synthesize data in a way that machines simply can't do right now.
I really like that word you've used, discernment, wisdom and discernment. That's really penetrating, and I think it really brings to light what we as humans do that AI can't do, at least not yet. Not in our lifetime, I don't think. Where do you see analysts misusing AI the most today?
Yeah, the biggest would be relying on it too much. I mean, offloading the things that I was just talking about, right? Offloading discernment, offloading critical thought, offloading even creativity. Yes, creativity is an analyst forte, right? Thinking, I guess you could call it out of the box. It's a little flip, but it's very real, right? It's thinking about things that the machine wouldn't think about. It's applying patterns the machine necessarily wouldn't think about. And when we offload the things that make us uniquely human, right? The ability to discern, the ability to see nuance, the ability to listen to that voice in the back of your head that says, wait a minute, this doesn't smell quite right. Or maybe I didn't ask all the right questions. Maybe I've been given a solution instead of a question, right? When we offload that's a problem, right? Because that's our edge. And if we are offloading all of that critical thinking to AI, that's when we're not necessary, right? And we will always be necessary as long as we are doing the things that are uniquely human.
Superb. So you added to that nuance, obviously critical thinking and discernment, like you mentioned. What skill will matter more than tools, do you think, in the next 2-3 years for data analysts or business analysts?
Yeah, that one's easy. Answer, one word, curiosity. You need to be curious. You need to embrace your inner 4-year-old and just ask why. Ask why. Ask why. And don't be afraid to ask why 3 or 4 or 5, 6 different times, but be curious. Try to get to the bottom of the heart of an issue. Try to get to the story under the story under the story. Try to figure out why something is happening and be curious. Critical thinking is going to be key to all of this, right? And being able to discern it, being able to do what analysts do, which is just take this giant pool of information and then discern within it. However, if you're not curious, if you're not creating the fact base, if you're not getting all the data you need, if you're not asking all the right questions, you won't be able to discern. You won't even need to discern because you won't have the data. So be curious. Just be relentlessly question driven and trying to get to the heart of the issue. Understand when you are being given an answer or where you're being given a solution instead of a scenario, or instead of a use case, or instead of a business process, whatever it is. That's something else that the analysts really need to be very, very careful of. And this is true before AI, right? When a customer comes to you and actually gives you a solution instead of a problem, right? But again, it just relentless curiosity. Understand, ask questions, and ask them multiple ways. Don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions, because that is where our uniqueness will shine through.
Superb. And I noticed that I want to mention to the audience as well that you are a chief data officer, and you've got behind you the initial CDO, obviously, that stands for Chief Data Officer. Maybe you want to talk a bit about, and I know you have a book that's out. Maybe you want to mention the book as well as what that has to do with being a chief data officer.
Well, thanks so much. Yes, I am a chief data officer of Prophecy. We make MDM, Master Data Management Software. And I wrote a book last year talking about the importance of mindset. What I've seen in the data and analytics space is what could best be described a fixed or potentially often even a negative mindset, which is the exact opposite of what we all really need to embrace these days, which is something called a growth mindset. And really kind of that growth mindset equals curiosity, right? The desire to learn, the desire to grow, the ability to ask a lot of difficult questions. But in the age of AI, the thing that will paralyze us is an embrace of the status quo. In the data and analytics space, we embrace way too much of the status quo. We're afraid to innovate. We're afraid to change. We're afraid to think of things differently. And I wrote my book, The Data Hero Playbook, as a how-to manual to go from a world of embracing the status quo, of not challenging how things work, to a world of asking right questions, to a world differently about analytics, adding that extra special something that machines can't add. That's my book. I talk about it on my podcast every week. That's the CDO Matters podcast. So if you checked out the book, if you checked out the podcast, I'd be absolutely thrilled.
Superb. Thanks again for being on the show. Malcolm, just want to mention again that Malcolm has written an article in the Evolving Analyst, and I think you really bring to light how human judgment, critical thinking, storytelling sort of remain essential, I think, for turning data into meaningful, actionable insights. So thanks once again for being on the show, Malcolm.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to contribute to what is an amazing book. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Have yourself a great day.
You too.